Tuesday the 14th of February 1995. Yesterday's train had been delayed by 10 hours, and now I'm heading for a place called Winnemucca in Nevada. I had a chat with one of the Amtrak staff who said that the reason for the delay was, firstly, someone died on board, which he whispered, "It happens all the time," and they cannot cross state lines with bodies that have not been seen by the coroner. This, however, was not the reason for the whole of the delay. Later on, the train hit a car that was on the line, and the person inside was killed. He said that people are always trying to beat the train at crossings because they're too impatient to wait. The impatience is understandable, as Amtrak trains are long and slow, and freight trains go on for miles. This is why drivers take such high risks. They just don't like waiting for trains. After reaching Winnemucca, because of the delays, I can only stay here for a few hours. It was a strange place, but this is what it says in the complimentary Amtrak brochure. In 1850, this town was the point where the wagon trains crossed the Humboldt River and then decided whether or not to turn north in order to avoid crossing the Sierra Nevada. In 1900, Butch Cassidy and his gang robbed the local bank here, trying to cash in on some of the profits from the gold, copper and silver mines. It's interesting the way thieves and murderers from the past enter into this legendary status and become the commercial subjects of postcards and cookbooks. Today, Winnemucca is a distribution point for farm produce and livestock. The train pulled into the station just as it was getting dark. Not my ideal time of arrival. It was cold, and I saw in the far distance the glowing arches of McDonald's on a pole like the Star of Bethlehem to guide me. I took a direct cross-country route across a barren wasteland, gouged with great ruts from large vehicles, past the backyards of homes, high-fenced and sporting satellite dishes, guarded by barking dogs careering round and round, their forms exaggerated and fearsome in the moonlight shadows as they sensed my presence. But I pushed forward over the frozen, muddy ruts. Below the mountains are motels and casinos illuminated on the horizon. I came to a supermarket and its lights welcomed me in, almost the only customer. I bought some food and a pack of cards in case of delays at the station. The girl at the checkout was astonished by my presence. "Here, in Winnemucca?" she just kept saying. I was beginning to see her point of view, but I was keen to experience the real America. I arrived at McDonald's as an elderly lady was creating a special decorated table reserved for Valentine's couples. As I sat and munched on my burger and fries, I watched the lady pin up paper hearts as she commented on the cold weather. All the time I was there witnessing this February the 14th ritual, no Valentine's couples came in to take their seats at the romantic podium. It was a long, lonely walk back to the station, along the roads this time, under the moon, bright as it shone over a huge cemetery. It was absolutely freezing. Unfortunately, there was no warm station to wait in, just a three-sided shelter with two sides of the glass broken. I waited by the tracks in the cold silence. Nobody was around to reassure me the train wasn't delayed for another 10 hours. It appeared that the train was very late, but I had no idea of how long. There was no station master or mistress here to ask, and I could only stand here shivering in hope. And based on yesterday's experiences, my hopes weren't that high. I can imagine the train staff finding me and prizing open my frozen fingers clasped around the train ticket. In desperation, I found the Amtrak helpline and phoned the number. Thankfully, they told me that the train would be here soon, and as I looked out into the silence, I saw some kids jumping over the tracks, and then saw the light and heard the melancholic yet joyous sound of the train's call. Oh, thank God. So happy to be greeted by friendly Amtrak staff and climb on board that warm train. I was saved.